Believe me, Winston, it's very real. Big brother, from the age of the thought police.
30 to 40 group, take your places, please.
You've heard the expression, Big Brother. It's taken from George Orwell's book, 1984. It describes a totalitarian society where every citizen is under constant surveillance. Orwell wrote that book 70 years ago. Newsflash, Big Brother has now arrived. Big Brother is already watching you now. On our program recently, China watcher Michael Pillsbury described a global surveillance system using facial recognition that allows the Chinese government to watch anyone, anywhere in real time. If that's not a modern-day Big Brother, I don't know what is. We've also learned that Amazon's home helper, Alexa, can listen in to what you're saying, even when Alexa has not been asked a question. Oh, she's always listening. Google operates Gmail, the very widely used email service. Google reads those emails. I recently received a call from India offering treatment for back pain. How did the caller know that? I'd mentioned the problem in an email. Google read it and passed along a tip to India. Hey, this guy might pay for treatment. Apple's FaceTime has a bug that allows people to eavesdrop. Facebook knows everything about everyone. They're following you. I wish I could say that there's a way out of all of this, but I don't think there is. We've opened the surveillance box and we cannot close it up. Much of our life is online. You can't realistically go offline. This is the face I've got, and facial recognition will pick me out anywhere. In the book, the main character, Winston Smith, is caught having independent thought. He is eventually normalized and ends up loving Big Brother.
The Times says the project aims to reframe American history.
It is an examination of the United States' origin story, a corrective history. It is designed to kickstart conversations, thus that hashtag I just mentioned, 1619 Project Brunch.
Now to some major news out of the NFL. A source telling ESPN that Washington's NFL team retiring its controversial nickname.
The Aunt Jemima brand is getting erased. The name and logo are being dropped from all products, including the iconic pancake mix and maple syrup. Within hours of the Aunt Jemima announcement came word that Uncle Ben's rice would get a new brand identity too.
New tonight, the Phoenix City Council voted to change the name of streets that they find offensive.
Barnes & Noble is facing backlash over its diverse editions of classic novels. Some to mention, like Peter Pan, The Secret Garden, are being displayed with new covers. The characters on the books are being reimagined as different ethnicities. This announcement
Twitter dropping the programming terms master, slave, and blacklist from its code. Master and slave are going to become leader and follower, while blacklist will become deny list.
Watch this.
I have never discriminated on the basis of sexual preference.
Sexual preference is an offensive and outdated term.
So Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, here's the old definition versus the new definition of sexual preference. Before it said orientation, sense, sexual preference. And now, after that exchange between the two of them on Tuesday, now it says offensive, sense, sexual preference. What's your response?
You stupid dinosaur! Get the out of here! I'm sorry, you guys.
That is a child attacking her mother and father for the crime of insufficient loyalty to Black Lives Matter. Here's a 15-year-old from Louisiana called Isabella. There are many like her in America right now.
I literally hate my family so much. It's just, they just try to argue with me that George Floyd they're just trying to tell me that, like, he deserved that because he did something wrong and that it was okay. That is not okay. And it's just making me so upset. I don't know why. I do not want to live here. I hate living in Louisiana. I hate living around these racist. I just want to leave.
Accomplishment.
Think Trump is worse than Hitler?
Yes.
Yeah.
Could be.
Definitely.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
He's childish.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
He's trying to stop, like food stamps. People need those.
Do you think that ending food stamps is as bad as killing like 6 million Jews?
He did that?
Yeah. He killed
That's why he's
Jews.
number
He's
two.
trying to just destroy the planet.
And built that wall, yeah.
They did a Harvard study and actually a judicial system study as well, and they found that there was no racial bias when it came to police shootings last year. When you guys hear that, what does that make you think?
Cap.
Cap. They did a study that showed that cops are actually 18 times more likely to be killed than an unarmed black man is to be killed by the police.
I doubt it.
Cap.
Yeah, that is cap.
Let's do it. Do you think the gender wage gap is real?
I do.
How do you stop the gender wage gap?
That's a great question. I think we have to take a look at our government and our understanding of capitalism and consumerism and kind of start working there and work backwards.
If you had like a business, you know what I mean, and they could pay women 77 cents for every dollar that a man would make, that would be like capitalism. So they would hire all women.
I suppose in a sense I'm following what you're saying, but...
You can protest all you want, but the I just saw take place. I know there are people out here, homeless people, who rely on those banks to charge their phone. And you think it's okay to take down a neighborhood? You don't see corporations here. There are human beings that live in this neighborhood. You do this in Harlem, you do this in Brooklyn, and I swear on everything. These people in this neighborhood deserve better. And I'm not talking about the gentrification. I'm not talking about students who come here and pay cash to go to NYU. I am talking about the people who go to a methadone clinic down the street. And you think this is a protest?
But in today's culture, just a simple social media post from years ago can prevent you from getting a job. Is that fair?
Tonight, Denver 7's Russell Haythorne goes 360 on the rise of what's being referred to as cancel culture.
You may have never heard the term cancel culture.
It's somewhat of a boycott of a person who has done something that other people find
objectionable.
It can also be someone just like you and me.
Putting something out there that can probably offend somebody.
So I often caution people, especially young people, students, about what they place on social media because that is their professional image and picture forever.
Cancel culture is a form of boycott or public shaming of a person who has shared a questionable or unpopular opinion.
From becoming the most talked about social media app in just a matter of days,
the social media platform Parler,
to now inaccessible. Parler, which dubbed itself as an alternative social network for conservative voices, was booted from the app stores on both Google and Apple in wake of the siege on the Capitol. The final blow came Monday when Amazon dropped Parler from its web hosting services, essentially pulling the plug on the 2-year-old venture. Critics were quick to pounce, claiming a double standard when it came to big tech and conservative viewpoints.
Let's do it. How many genders are there?
Infinite?
Infinite?
I think there are infinite genders.
Yeah.
There are like 5, 6 maybe.
6? What are those 6?
It's like male, female, transgender, asexual. Then, yeah, I'm not like familiar with the names, but I'm like pretty sure I've seen like videos and everything on like different genders like here.
How many genders are there?
Oh, girl. It's like 72 plus or something. I could not tell you.
You couldn't tell me?
Could not tell you.
How many can you name?
Not all 72.
One of the most elite schools, colleges, universities in the world, but it has a rather simplistic view of anyone from the Trump administration dare entertaining getting jobs in Harvard, given the fact that the biggest crime they committed was working in the Trump administration. Charlie Gasparino on this.
The side is the sort of tweets that have been coming out from that mob about, oh, we've got to hunt down all the Trump supporters. We've got to.
You're going to have a list.
They've got the list. Exactly. Tell us about that.
They are now talking about AOC and lots of other people. We need to have a list of everybody who enabled Donald Trump, and we're going to have this list, and you won't be able to sit on the company board. You get a job in academia. You know, this will be the shame list. And this shows exactly how authoritarian their instincts really are after claiming.
There are millions of Americans, almost all white, almost all Republicans, who somehow need to be deprogrammed. It's as if they are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult, and who have to be deprogrammed.
There has to be consequences, and then once you get those consequences, I think then people have to take a second look at their actions, and they have to be much more afraid.
I think a lot of people are going to have to be deprogrammed.
You know what Biden means? Go through all the Republican voters and Homeland Security will take the children away. And we'll put them into re-education camps.
Amen.
Moment. Tory Bullock is challenging the city and the mayor to take down this statue near Park Plaza. It's called the Freedmen's Monument. It's a replica of the original in Washington, D.C., with President Lincoln standing over a freed slave. The inscription on its base reads, "A race set free," but interpretations of the artwork varies. More statue controversy comes following this week's vandalism of the Christopher Columbus statue in the city's North End.
Abe Lincoln has overlooked Bascom Hill for more than 100 years. The statue worn from grads climbing up to get a picture. But what he symbolizes for marginalized students isn't land-grant universities or even emancipating slaves.
He was also very publicly anti-black. Just because he was anti-slavery doesn't mean he was pro-black.
A real-life political drama in Tinseltown. Oh, imagine. According to a new report, many Hollywood conservatives, me being one, are not shelling out for Donald Trump, fearing backlash over being outed as Trump supporters. The head of a Hollywood public relations firm telling The Wrap, quote, "If you're climbing that studio ladder or haven't become a big star yet, you're probably not going to be very hesitant to support Trump. These people are afraid because their bosses are very likely Hillary Clinton supporters."
Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. George Santayana said that. Now I'm going to read you another quote that's applicable to this, and then we're getting to today's piece. This is from Orwell in 1984, the famous book about dystopian future where there's thought police, things like that. Every record has been destroyed or falsified. Every book has been rewritten. Every picture has been repainted. Every statue and street and building has been renamed. Every date has been altered. And that process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. George Orwell. You'd never thought that you would see 1984 happen in 2020, did you? Or in your lifetime. But it's happening. It's scary. You know, what's